we still have other business to get to because the NFL has yet to take Peter's advice and delay all coach interviews and hires until after the Super Bowl. We have the confluence still lingering of bad teams hiring new coaches as the great teams get ready to try to qualify for the Super Bowl. The latest one, and surprising in various ways, a return by Raheem Morris, who was the interim coach to wrap up the 2020 season, didn't get the job when it went to Arthur Smith, now gets the job 3 years later and takes over at a time when a lot of the people that you would talk to in league circles had Bill Belichick penciled in for the Falcons job. It instead goes to Raheem Morris, who comes back to Atlanta, teams up with GM Terry Fontenot, and tries to turn a team that has just kind of been there for the past few years into a team we're talking about on a Friday like this because they're getting ready to play in the conference championship game.
I think a lot of people probably wonder, who don't know Raheem Morris, probably wonder, and they think, why would you take a guy who had a decent run as defensive coordinator of the Rams, but they didn't have a powerhouse on defense, and why would you take a guy who, is now getting a second chance after a failure in Tampa Bay, and all that? What are you doing? And the only thing I would say to those people, and again, everybody is entitled to their opinion. Raheem Morris, I don't want to be a cliche fest right now, but Raheem Morris is the definition of a leader of men. When you have powerful guys over the years, and I mean powerful, strong players like Julio Jones, like Aaron Donald, like Jalen Ramsey, and then all the young players he has brought along. Ask Ernest Jones, who's a rising star linebacker with the Rams. What do you owe your success to early in your career? All of these people, or many of them, I think, are going to say that Raheem Morris is the best coach I ever played for. Now, that's lofty praise. It really is. However, the reason that they do that is when you walk in the door, like to the Rams, the Falcons will find this out. They already knew it because when he left there 4+ years ago, the players there really did not want to see him go, even though who's good in an interim way? I mean, not a lot of guys are very good as interim coaches for a lot of reasons. But I just think, Mike, over the years, as I've gone around the league and I've watched coaches, watched teams, talk to people, Raheem Morris is in the top 5 of people I've ever covered who players, A, love to play for, B, respond to. And this is not even remotely a surprise to me.
Well, it's only a surprise because mainstream thought did not line up with what you believe, with what I believe, what we've been hearing all these years. I think the problem was he got his first shot too young. 32 out of the blue. They fired John Gruden and Bruce Allen. And then out of the blue, it's Raheem Morris, who no one had heard of, at least on a widespread basis. Mark Dominic takes over as GM. 3 years later, he's out. But when you look at the depth of experience he's got, it's almost like a special teams coordinator. You hear the argument from time to time, special teams coordinators should be considered more frequently to be head coaches because they know how to deal with both sides of the ball. Raheem Morris, over the past 11, 12 years, has worked on both sides of the ball. He's been an offensive coach. He's been a defensive coach. And it feels overdue for his ship to come back in, but he's still only 47. At the time we're talking about coaches, a couple of them in their 70s still maybe looking for opportunities. 47 is spring chicken. So this is a great opportunity for Raheem Morris and a chance for him to show everything he's learned during this extended period of gathering himself for his second option. And what he did in 2023 with that Rams defense after they trade Jalen Ramsey, after they strip it down to nothing except for Aaron Donald, who isn't the Aaron Donald he was a couple of years ago. That is impressive, too. I heard a story a couple of weeks ago when Raheem Morris first landed on my radar screen as possibly getting that Falcons job. Another coach in the NFL remarked that Raheem is screwed this year by what the Rams have done to that defense. This was back before the season started, which makes what he did with that defense even more impressive. The idea, how's he going to position himself for head coaching consideration with these players? And he did.
Mike, I had a very prominent coaching agent say to me about a week ago, we were talking about all the openings. He's a plugged-in guy, and we were talking about it. And he said to me, he goes, man, you can really tell the Rams want to get rid of Raheem Morris. I said, what? And he said, just listen to him. He said, listen to Les Snead at his postseason press conference, spend 3 minutes talking about Raheem Morris and what a great man he is and what a great head coach he would be for somebody. Listen to Kevin Demoff on the Peter Schrager podcast talk about what a great man, what a great coach he is, and he deserves to get a head coaching job. And Mike, you know it. You know that your antennae go up when you hear so many people talk in such a lofty fashion about one of the assistant coaches on a team. You know what immediately you think of? I'm going to tell you what I think of. They want to get rid of the guy. And I said, no, I'm telling you, this is different. They'll be heartbroken if Raheem Morris leaves. I'm telling you, I know it. However, they love Raheem Morris, and they want him to advance in his career, even at the detriment of their own team. They don't want to hold him there. And that is what I became convinced of, because so many people in the business, you hear everybody talk great about one coach on the team, and immediately the thought goes to your mind, they want to dump this guy on somebody else. And that is what is different about Raheem Morris, in my opinion.
The other cynical viewpoint, which I heard from multiple different people after Les Snead said what he said publicly on Friday of last week, is that the Rams want the 2 third-round picks that they will get under the tweak to the hiring protocol that rewards a team for grooming and positioning and promoting a minority candidate to become a head coach or a general manager. Now, look, there are people out there that don't like that rule. I look at it and say the NFL has had a horrible, horrible track record, beyond horrible track record, when it comes to a collection of head coaches that represents the demographics of the players' pool for decades. And we know it. When Brian Flores filed his class action racial discrimination lawsuit February 1 of 2022, Troy Vincent, the executive VP of football operations, came out and admitted how bad it's been. So any effort to make it better, no matter how imperfect that effort may be, no matter what incentives it might create, whatever it might do, as long as they're trying to clean up this mess that has been lingering in plain sight for years and years and years, it's fine. That's fine. If that's the motivation, if they want 2 third-round picks, I don't care, because the NFL desperately needed to make it better. And look at this hiring cycle. The NFL has found a way to make it better.
And by the way, Mike, this will be the first time since 2015 that the Los Angeles Rams have had both a first-round pick and 4 picks in the top 3 rounds. And that is meaningful also. And obviously the last pick, I think it'll be pick number 101 or 102, right at the end of the 3rd round as compensation, half the compensation for losing Raheem Morris. The reason why that is significant is that we're in a new era of Rams football. And probably we can look at it and say, okay, either Aaron Donald or Matthew Stafford or both a year from now may retire or with sometime within the next 2 years. The Rams have to build a young team. And so whether or not The Rams privately are popping a champagne cork because they're getting 2 threes, 2 low threes. Basically, they're the equivalent of high fours. Whether they're not getting they're getting 2 mid-round draft choices. To me, I think that's nice. It's nice, but I'm just telling you, they were not politicking to get Raheem Morris out of their building.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.